Hello and welcome to the Unwritten Life. I'm working on my puzzle. I haven't done anything since I last talked to you, so yeah. And also, as usual, for some reason, the lighting does look a little bit better on camera than it does in real life, which is good for the camera and somewhat less good for me because the lighting, as I said, not the greatest. It's very overcast today. It has been gloomy, rainy, and to say that it has been wet for the last couple of days is, I feel like, an understatement. Is that even a word? Maybe? So, yeah, I haven't really done much. The last 2 days I've been waiting for an electrician that never actually showed up, so yay. Not really, but you know, they're their own brand of people, I think, that, what would you say, beat to their own drum or something? They're definitely not very good at letting you know, well, anything. I had a fan installed in my bathroom last year, and the fan itself, it works. The problem is, when it's cold outside, the cold weather, the cold air comes flooding in through that fan, that vent fan thing that was put in the wall. That's not really supposed to happen. It made my bathroom really cold until I realized, hey, I could just wrap insulation around it that I need to take off when I start the fan and put it back on when I'm not using the fan, because if not, my bathroom would be quite frosty. Not actually frost, but like it got really cold. And it took me a while to figure out why my bathroom was so cold in winter, until I realized that it was because of my new fan. So that was annoying last year, and then I never got around to calling and telling them to come fix it. But a couple of days ago, I did call and talk to them, and they said they would show up, which they didn't, or at least not yet. Keep fingers crossed for me that at some point they will. And if they don't show up either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna have to call them again. I'm not someone who likes talking on the phone, so I try to kind of, I always push those things as far as I can, and I think I've mostly gotten to the point where, like, I can't ignore this anymore. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. I've been, well, waiting for someone who haven't shown up yet. So fingers crossed they will. Last time we talked, I had only, what I did with the puzzle last time was, well, sort. And now I'm finally starting to do some of the puzzle. And I find it very enjoyable. They're very thin, these pieces. It's an old puzzle. And I don't think I would try to lift big sections because I simply don't think that would be an actual option. They would just fall apart. So I'm gonna have to slide everything around all the time, so that's gonna be interesting. But you know, new puzzles, or at least new to me puzzle, because this is a new to me puzzle. It's an old puzzle. How old? I don't know. But, you know, I'll never find out because I don't have the full box. I have the lid, which I've decided not to look at when I do this. So, to kind of challenge myself. This must be a building. We have sky, we have flowers. They were a little hard to tell apart because I don't know if you know, but like a lot of newer puzzles have like crisper edges and clearer colors. This is an old one, so it's all kind of like blended together with all the different colors, which makes it challenging, but not impossible. Just some of it just takes a little bit longer. So we'll see how long this takes me. My guess, quite a while. But that's okay. I'm figuring it out, one piece at a time. I think last time we talked that I told you that I'd started trying to do something kind of DIY in my house. And yeah, it was an interesting thing, and it's definitely not done. I need to do more, but I only have two hands, and they only can only reach so far. And sometimes you need more hands to do things, or longer arms. Though I look very weird if I got longer arms all of a sudden. So stretching them out, not an option. Also, it would be very hard to like snatch them back in, I think. So we're not going to go stretch any arms. Also, that sounds very uncomfortable. So I'm not sure if this is actually an edge piece. I don't think so. There are some pieces that looks like edge pieces, but that one is not one of them. Or it looks like an edge piece, but it's actually not an actual edge piece. That got difficult to say. As usual, space in my brain is everywhere. Or that also got weird. Anyway, let's talk about my house. Because boy, is that a project. There are certain things in this house that are more of a project than what I feel like I was led to believe. I think that's the nice way to put it, okay? Let's just put it like that. Not everything is what I feel like I should assume that it was. Anyway. Words are hard. Today, as many other days. But I have a stair from first floor to the second floor, and between those, you know, to get from one floor to another, you need a set of stairs, which is fine. In those stairs, there is a window, not in the actual stairs. You know, you have the stairs and then you have the wall here. How does that look in camera? Yeah. And this wall and the stair is like right on the wall. That wall has a narrow but very tall window, and part of the window is definitely behind the stairs, which makes it very hard to clean because you have to like finagle your way behind the stairs. Not the steps, just kind of like the side piece of the stairs. You know, why am I trying to explain stairs? We all know what stairs are and how they work and how they look, right? Because if you don't, you probably don't understand what I'm saying anyway. Anyway, these stairs have a tall window, and last year I was realizing that this window wasn't quite what I expected. That's the common theme of this house. But that window, the bottom of it, got frost on the inside, not the outside, but the inside of the window. That's in my hallway. It got frost on the bottom, which, you know, not a good thing. Not a good thing. But that window, I've been considering, it's like maybe I need to get a new window. But I don't think it has punctured, so it's just And also getting new windows requires making phone calls, which I'm not crazy about, and also they're expensive. So I was thinking maybe there's something I can do. And I've now started to do something. And of course, after I tried doing that thing, it hasn't really been cold enough. It hasn't been -Celsius. It's only been a little warmer, so I haven't really gotten to check if it actually worked, what I did. I think it kind of works, but also it's not enough because, as I said, tall window behind the stairs. So there is a challenge there where I will be needing help because I only have 2 arms and they only have so far in between them. So I'm gonna need some help with that. But what I have done, it took a surprising amount of work. The work itself was not so much, but kind of like, you know how, am I pointing in the right? It's impossible to point on camera. But okay, around the windows, you have like these wood pieces. A border? No, lists? Those, okay, you can't see where I'm pointing. That one. That white one that goes that way on the door, you have those things around the window too, you know? And I had been told that maybe because there was a slight gap between some pieces, and I've been shoving insulation pieces down there to try to help. That didn't really work all that well. So I've learned a bit more about how windows are put in and construction and all, because I went to one of the few stores we actually have here, which is kind of like similar to a Home Depot, I guess. Like all different types of building materials. And luckily for me, some people that knows what they're doing and can spend an awful long time trying to explain me things that I'm very confused about. So I went to the store, I got an explanation, a lengthy explanation because the poor guy had to explain some of the same things over and over in several different ways before it finally partially clicked in my head. Still not fully, but you know, a little is better than a lot. No, a lot is better than a little, but a little is better than nothing. That's where we're going with this. So, poor guy, took a long time, and man, he was so patient with me trying to explain things. And he kept trying, and he was working hard on the explaining, and you know, some of it I think I understood. I'm not a building expert, that's for sure. That's very, very, very much for sure. But we got a little ways. So when I got home, I grabbed my, what's it called, crowbar? You kind of like, you squeeze a little in and then you kind of, yeah, pry something, crowbar, whatever. The 2 vertical ones around the windows are behind the stairs. So I can't get them off because you need to work on both over and under the stairs at the same time, and there's only one of me. But the bottom one was all the way straight. And I was like, we have an opportunity, at least we can try something. So I managed to, and it took such a long time, to pry that little piece of wood off without destroying the nails and the walls and everything. I didn't destroy anything. I did manage to get it off though, which was great. And there is a piece that I'm fairly certain I was supposed to like smash in with a hammer because it's been sliding out a little. but I wasn't sure if it was the right piece, so I only tapped it a little. It didn't move, and I was like, I don't know if I'm even hitting the right piece, so let's not do that. But there was a gap between the window frame and the wall. There was a gap. So I was shoving insulation in there, and I can see from the vertical ones, because I can see a tiny bit there, that there was a gap there too. So I shoved insulation in there, but because the vertical ones I can't get off on my own, you know, so I'm gonna need some help with that. But I did manage to squish basically insulation in wherever I could, and carefully place the nails in their holes and like push it slightly and slowly in. And I didn't ruin anything. It was great. And as I said, it hasn't been a lot of -degrees Celsius. It hasn't been much below 0. The first night after I did it, it was a little bit below 0. And the window inside didn't get frosted. It only got a little moisture on it. So I think it helped. Maybe. I think. So at least now I know part of what I will need help with. And that part will be to get the vertical pieces off. The one above the window is kind of flush with the wall, so I don't think I will need to do anything about that one. Really hope not. But so that will be good, obviously. But the vertical ones, I'm gonna need help. Let's be honest, it's gonna be my parents next time they come. Or someone at some point when my parents come, I will be needing their help with this. And then it will be take the vertical pieces off, possibly hammer a bit on the frame so it actually is, because I'm pretty sure it's the frame of the window that's sticking out from the wall into the room. And it's supposed to be like flush with the wall. So that needs to be put back in, and then we need to fill the gaps with insulation and then put the vertical pieces back on, I think. I don't know for sure though if that is kind of like the big reason or what. I don't know. But I think that is at least part of the issue. And I think I figured that part out, which is amazing. And as I said, if it is that is kind of like part of the big problem, I might have found a way to not need to switch out that window, which means I will save money, which is amazing. Especially since we all know everything is expensive, and you know, I still don't have a job to make me money, and I have a few health struggles that makes a job a little challenging. So here I am doing a puzzle in the middle of the day while I'm keep my fingers crossed that the electrician comes to check on the thing he should have been fixing. Like, technically last year, but I didn't tell him, so he couldn't know. Yeah. I have challenges with my house. How are you doing? Where are your house? I hope you are enjoying your house. And also, like, if you have, like, DIY stuff, do you like it? What have you been doing lately as of this year? And what are your plans for DIY stuff for next year? And would you have been bolder than I was and actually kind of, like, tap the piece of the potential window frame with the hammer a little harder to see if it actually would go in a little or not? Or are you like me, like terrified of making a mistake? So I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But I mean, I am doing some things. Maybe not the big things and not all the things I would like to do. Also because I don't have the knowledge. I mean, there is so much I do not know and have no clue about. So that is challenging. I will admit, when there are so many things I simply just don't know, you know? It's I'll figure it out though. I hope. I really hope. Oh my lord, I hope. But you know, and also I can't do everything in one go anyway. I have to do it little by little because time, energy, money, help from my parents because I am very, very lucky that way. Whenever my parents come to visit, basically they're asking, okay, what's on the list for us to do this time? It's like a work camp that they show up to. And so I'm like, okay, what are our jobs? No time to relax. No time to just sit and enjoy. Let's work. I have tried to tell them though, it's like, we don't have to like work all the time and every time you come here, you can just come and visit. And they were like, no, there's so much to do. And also, do you really have to sit still all the time? Because that would not be good. We all like to do stuff. So that's a very lucky thing. They come here, they have a lot to do. They come here, I get a lot of help. So in that sense, I am, yeah, who am I kidding? I totally feel spoiled. Very, very spoiled. Or maybe not spoiled, I mean, they're my parents. They're supposed to help me, but yeah, I feel very blessed and lucky. But as I said, then we have the things where I'm like, I did this on my own. Okay, not the vertical ones, but I did the horizontal ones in the bottom. And I think it worked a little, which is better than nothing. I mean, come on, a little bit is better than nothing. So, yeah, it's it also, man, first of all, like trying to get that piece, even though it was definitely a gap between the wood piece, the horizontal one, and the wall. I could like stick my little finger up in there, and it was a space enough for that. So it was not where it was supposed to be, that's for sure. But you know, the fact that it was a hard thing to get that one off the wall. So that was definitely a struggle. It took me a while. It just, and also, you know, it also took me a while because I didn't want to risk ruining it. I wanted to be able to continue to use the piece because, well, I didn't have any other piece to use, so it was that or nothing. And I didn't want to risk having nothing there, so yeah. I don't know which of these corners go where. That is a little annoying. Hold on. Definitely not. Oh wait, maybe here. So, oh, cool. All right. Now I kind of wish to look at the picture, but I'm not going to. Because I want to challenge myself to, well, not look at it. So. Ooh, okay. That way I know that corner goes there. And there are not a lot of these pieces. Oh. Oh, this poor piece. It's breaking apart a little. I might need to glue some of these pieces. Do you need to have like a special glue to glue, well, puzzle pieces together? I don't know. Yet another thing that I tend to like basically say, Dad, this puzzle piece is about to break. Can you fix it? And then he does. So I'm not saying I'm spoiled rotten. I do know how to do some things, and I can fend for myself in many ways, but man, my parents have done a lot for me. And I think I'm like realizing it even more now that I live so far away from them. And like, I guess I'm finally realizing how much I rely on my parents and how much I need them. And a part of me is like, dang, if I'd figured this out earlier, maybe I would have bought a house closer. But at the same time, I couldn't buy anything closer because, well, that would cost too much money. And that's not to say that they live in an area that is very expensive, but this area was cheaper than where they live. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to buy anywhere else anyway, but at the same time, I'm like, dang, totally wish that I lived closer. So, you know, it would be easier for me to travel to them and say, hey, can you fix this? Or, you know, basically have them help me with all the different things. On the other hand, it is probably a good thing that I have to be more self-sufficient. Is that the word? You know, when I'm wandering out on my own and doing things without my parents. I don't know. It's and I can't help but wonder, this puzzle, will it be missing any pieces? I don't know. I'm very curious though, if it will be missing pieces or not. I really hope it's not missing any pieces, but I don't know. So yeah, that was the story of me doing a little bit of DIY, not fully knowing yet whether it actually worked or not, but as soon as the frost comes back, because right now frost has, I don't know, taken a hike somewhere, and it's not here at the moment, but I can guarantee you frost will be back. After all, I live in Norway. Frost is guaranteed in winter. Both good and bad. Yeah, it was fun though, the DIY. That may or may not have fully worked. Because it was nice to see how it was kind of like behind the piece of wood, behind the curtain, sort of, and doing it myself. Even though I was a little worried that I would mess something up and break something that I shouldn't, in a way. Not the window, because I'd never go that close to the window with a hammer, so just to be on the safe side. But still, it's the whole thing about it. I did it myself. It may or may not worked. I hope that it helped. And as I said, I do believe that it helped. How much, I don't know. And I'm starting to think this puzzle is vertical, not horizontal. Maybe. There are a lot of maybes here. Apparently, maybe is my new thing or something. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, with this long already, it has to be a vertical one. But I still don't know which one of these goes there. And I don't feel like this piece, wait, hold on. Nope, not it. Damn it. Okay. Yeah. I have this thing tonight, and I don't know if I'm gonna go, but I don't know. I will maybe tell you about it if I go. It's a social thing. I don't know if I wanna. But I think I wanna. I don't know. I feel like something is off somewhere. Like, wait. Maybe these are not edge pieces either because they're not fully straight. I can feel it. It's not as straight as the other ones. Okay, then we don't need to bother about those either. Gosh, this has not been easy from the start, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I was hoping to do... Oh, that definitely didn't work. Ooh, that did work. I was kind of hoping to finish the edge. Let's just ignore the sky pieces. Definitely won't be finishing those anytime soon. I was kind of hoping to finish the edge by... I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. What? That looks more like that way. I'm very confused now. That's okay. It happens. Oh, cool. What was I going to say? Yeah, I really hope to finish this edge while we were chatting so you could see at least the edge here, but I am coming to a point of struggle. Why is this so hard? I don't know. Definitely not. I don't know if you know this, but when I start to like break pieces apart and trying them everywhere, that means I'm getting a little frustrated with the puzzle and wanting to finish what I'm currently doing. It's like, but nothing, wait, hold on. Oh, look at this. Do you see? Well, this ain't going nowhere. It might look like it goes. It doesn't actually go. Gosh, did I? What? Okay, we're almost there. But I'm also definitely a little confused here. Because well, it has to fit somewhere, right? What is happening? Oh, wait. Anyway, but why are you not... Okay. I need to be able to figure this out before we say bye, because I really want you to see, like, obviously not the full picture because most pieces are here, but I really wanted to show off... Wait, no, what? I really wanted to show off all the whole edge. And now I just confused myself a lot. That can't be right. It's too tall. But where? What? It does go there. Okay. Maybe I just skipped a few. Oh. Did you see that? I hope so. Maybe this does go together? It doesn't quite look like it, but they do go together. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I think we're going to stop here because I'm very excited. And I only have the sky pieces left. And they're all blue. So they're going to take a bit of organizing and time to do. I don't know. Do you want to see me do the edge pieces of the sky? I'll probably just trying to match them up. Like trying everything until it fits somewhere. You know, where you have one piece where you try until it goes with someone else. Do you want to see that? Let me know. And what? Oh, they might match up very nicely. I have a feeling I talked a lot again. Oh dear, half an hour. Well, no one can come and claim that I do not know how to talk. They know that very well. But yeah, I finished most of the edge though. That was the goal with today's video. Tell you about my window DIY that may or may not have worked. But also it does need a little bit more work because of the vertical ones. I need to have those off and fill in the holes and maybe push the window a little in. But I'm worried that if I try to push it in, what if it falls out on the other side? Then I have no window, then it's just big open gaping hole, and that would be worse than a little bit of frost on the inside of the window, which is probably why I wasn't quite ready to like hammer in that piece that we're sticking out. I don't think the window's gonna fall out, but at the same time, you never know. It's an old house, and God knows what they've been doing some of the places here, so yeah. I talked a lot, so I just wanted to do the edge while I talk to you and tell you about my nerves about the window and the frost and the insulation, and yeah. I did most of the edge, so we have a very vertical, even more, it's like, it's very like, it's this here, and like, yeah, it's gonna be a challenge working here because I'll be like putting my sweater down on these pieces. So I should probably do the sky first. Oh man, I wish I had sorted those out while I was sorting out the edge. That would have been smart. I did not do that. So I may or may not sort the sky pieces while you're not looking or while we're not talking. But I'm thinking I know, I've said this before, I will try to do the puzzling when we talk, but I'm thinking I can do sorting. You don't need to see the sorting. The sorting isn't that interesting to watch, in my opinion. But like the pieces going in, I do enjoy that. Both watching it and doing the puzzling, doing the thing. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this and have a nice time.